Good morning. I'm glad the sun is out today. We were worried about that, but for Lois, the sun came out. I have to admit that I am absolutely thrilled to see so many of Lois's friends here. I know it's bitter cold, and you've come out to show how much you loved her and to pay your respects, and I know it means so much to this family that you have made this trip. Also, I'd like to invite you on behalf of the family to join them after the interment at Beit Olam Cemetery around 11:45 at Granite City Restaurant. It is in Legacy Village. It's very simple to find. Cedar and Richmond, just crawl around in there and you'll make it there. They've also asked that you make your donations, if you are inclined to do so, to a charity of your choosing. Can you hear me better? It's because I'm short. Still not? No? They hear great. It's okay? That's okay. Adonai roi lo echsar, binodeh sheyarbitzeni, al mei menuchot yenahaleni, nafshi yeshovev yanacheni v'maglei tzedek lema'an shemo. Gam ki elech begates al mavet, lo yirara ki ata imadi, shivtecha umishantecha hema yenachamuni. Taroch lefanai shulchan neged tzorai, tishat Hashem en roshi, kosi revaya. Ach tov v'chesed yirdefuni kol yemei chayai, v'shavti beveit Adonai leorech yamim. The words of the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters, he restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Death has taken our beloved Lois Lavine. Our friends grieve in their darkened world. In their silence there is lamentation. In their tears there is loneliness. Lost in their sorrow, may they find the presence of loving friends. Hear them, O God, and be with them. For Lois's love that united us in life, and which death cannot sever, for her companionship that we shared along life's path, and which continues through the tenderness of memory, for the gifts of her heart and her mind that brought us joy and happiness, and is now a precious remembrance. For all these and more, we give our thanks to God. Esa enai el harim me'ayin yavo izri. I lift my eyes to the mountains. What is the source of my help? My help comes from Adonai, maker of heaven and earth. God would not let your foot give way. Your protector will not slumber. See, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. God is your guardian. God is your protection. At your right hand, the sun will not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. God will guard you from all harm. God will guard your soul, your going, and your coming, now and forever. A woman of valor, who can find? She is more precious than fine pearls. Her husband trusts in her, and so he lacks nothing. She does him good, never harm, all the days of her life. She perceives that her labor is rewarding. Her candle burns on into the night. She reaches out to those in need and extends her hands to the poor. She is clothed in strength and dignity, and she faces the future cheerfully. She speaks with wisdom. The law of kindness is on her lips. Her children rise up and bless her. Her husband sings her praises. Many daughters have done valiantly, but you, Lois, you excel them all. There is an ancient and a very beautiful legend that tells us how God sent a ministering angel to earth to bring back to God the three things which were the most nearly divine objects worthy of a place in heaven. When the angel came to earth, God entered a garden. There God saw a rose in bloom, and thinking it to be divinely beautiful, he plucked the rose. He next passed a house where, looking into the window, God saw an infant sleeping in a crib. He was struck by the infant's peaceful smile and thought it worthy of a place in heaven. God then flew back and forth over the earth, wondering what that third thing should be. Suddenly, he saw a mother devotedly going about her work, and he took the mother's love to heaven. This legend describes how shortly afterwards the rose withered, losing its beauty. The child awakened from his sleep, and no longer peaceful began to cry. The only thing that remained in heaven as it was on earth was the love of the mother. We know from our experience that the most divine gift we are privileged to enjoy is the love of our mothers, their devotion to our welfare, and their faithfulness to their families. Lois was a true Em B'Yisrael, a Jewish mother in the best sense, a woman who made being a mother a full-time occupation. Her tireless devotion to her children reminds us that the most significant part of a child's education occurs not in the classroom, but in the home, as she conveyed her challenges and her aspirations, and by the way that she handled the experiences of life. Lois's life was indeed full of challenges, the worst kind, that of the loss of two of her children, Missy and Lauren, her husband Philip, and most recently, the death of her twin sister Marilyn, just this past September. But Lois's life isn't characterized by her losses, but by her kindness, her class, her joy in the fullness of life, and how she lived as a devoted parent, a sister, a wife, a relative, and a true friend. I enjoyed learning more about Lois from Amy and Diana yesterday, but our conversation was enhanced with the memories shared by Annette Sabo, another resident of Stone Gardens. She came toddling by with her walker, insisted she was on a mission to walk because her arthritis was very bad, but she continued to talk. We reminded Annette that she was out to walk, but she continued to talk. So we gave her a chair. She provided the frosting on the cake of stories that Amy shared with me. First, you must know that Lois was a Glenville girl, which means her high school and her sorority friendships that were made way back in the 30s and in the 40s in high school were her lifelong friends, ones that stood the test of time and continued until her very last day. She met her beloved husband, Philip Lavine, after writing letters to him during his military duty upon the insistence of his sister, Molly. After his return, they met, they sealed the deal, and enjoyed a marriage of over 60 years that was based on true devotion, admiration, respect, and love for one another. And together they raised their 4 children, Amy, Michael, Lauren of blessed memory, and Missy of blessed memory. I was surprised, though, to learn that Lois did not receive an engagement ring when Phil proposed. 10 years into the marriage, Michael, Amy, and Phil dropped hints and sent her notes about a big surprise coming. She was certain it was going to be a watch and not a ring, and she absolutely did not want a watch. She even asked Amy, "How am I going to pretend I love it?" Lo and behold, a watch box was delivered to her, and inside, to her surprise, was not a watch, but a gorgeous diamond ring, which she cherished and wore, never took it off from that moment on. Lois was very well known for her social and entertaining skills. She knew how to impeccably prepare and execute an elegant party, often entertaining for Phil's colleagues from Prudential. Her table was always perfectly set with china and crystal, never a plate or fork out of place or out of sync with the rest of the table service. Amy learned these skills from her mother and often helped to set the table, and she even enjoyed a seat with the grown-ups at the table, all dressed up in her finest clothes, too. Diana and Phil liked to play a little trick, and that was to slightly misalign a plate or a fork from the set table just to see how long it would take Lois to notice the difference. They never got away with it. Lois was quick to notice and return it to its perfect place. Lois exemplified true social skills, the art of letter writing, and always a please and a thank you. She was a wonderful cook, but she was known more for her baking, her mandel bread, twice baked, crispy, and coconut bars. Now, Amy, I know you've promised me the recipe. You have it? Do you have it? See, I knew you'll send it. That's what they all say. I never get it. Lois loved to read. She enjoyed the newspaper from cover to cover and the crossword puzzles, and she read all the latest and greatest literary works with great gusto and joy. She was never found to be without a book. She and Phil enjoyed the beach, and they went camping with the kids across the country, to Canada, Florida, and to Prudential conventions, wherever they may be. And they camped for a week, and they hoteled for a week. I think Lois was best known for being the ultimate fashionista. She was always beautifully coiffed, her hair, her makeup, and her manicure fresh and perfect. She was a class act and knew how to dress in the latest styles, finished off with beautiful accessories from jewelry to hats and handbags. At Stone Gardens for the past 2.5 years, she was known for her exceptional beauty and her exquisite clothing, coordinated sweaters and pants, according to Annette. Even residents remarked how well put together she always was. But more than the physical outside beauty, Lois was a kind, refined, and generous woman. The residents and aides at Stone Gardens mentioned that she was so thoughtful and loving, walking through the halls as the unofficial welcome committee chairwoman. Throughout her life, she was known to be a caregiver to everyone, putting others first, and finally, overwhelmed with sadness and with the passing of her twin sister in September, she lost her zest for life, stating that she never wanted to be the last one left. To Amy and Di, to John and Paul, her nieces, her nephews, and her very special relatives, and her dear, dear friends, we mourn with you, and we wish you comfort and wholeness as you navigate these coming days and months of grief. And to Lois we say, Lechi l'shalom, go in peace, for a life well loved and well lived. And we all say to rest in peace. Amen. I'd like you to join with me in this brief poem with the last few words of each line. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we will remember her. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we will remember her. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we will remember her. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we will remember her. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we will remember her. When we are weary and in need of strength, we will remember her. When we are lost and sick at heart, we will remember her. When we have joys that we yearn to share, we will remember her. So long as we live, Lois too shall live. She is a part of all of us as we remember her. Adonai natan ve'Adonai lakach, yehi shem Adonai mevorach. God has given and God has taken away. Blessed be the name of God. An ancient people, we are well acquainted with grief and with the valley of shadows. Death and sorrow are not strangers to us, yet the centuries have taught us that a good name endures beyond the grave, and that there is strength in faith. With Job we say, Adonai natan, God, you have given, You gave us a dear loved one who will never be forgotten. For all that was good and enduring in her life, we offer the deepest thanks of our hearts. Adonai lakach. Now, God, you have taken her away. We pray for the strength to turn our broken hearts into an altar of trust before which we acknowledge your sovereignty and your love as we say, Yehi Shem Adonai Mevorach, blessed be the name of God, now and forever. Take just a couple moments to pray silently, to think in our mind of all that Lois was and did for us and meant to us, and hopefully when we meet again, that we can share those beautiful stories with the family as her neshama, her soul, receives an elevation closer to God. May the words of our mouths and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O God, our strength and our Redeemer. Into your care we entrust the spirit of Lois Lavine, for you keep faith with your children in death as in life. We ask all who are able to please rise for El Malei Rachamim. El Malei Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, המצא מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה, עם קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים את נשמת לאה גיטל בת פלטיאל ודרשקה שלך לעולמה. בעל הרחמים יסתיריה בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרו בצרור חמים את נשמתה, אדוני הוא נחלתה, ותנוח בשלום על משכבה, ונאמר אמן. Compassionate God, Eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Lois, daughter of Philip and Dorothy, who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in your eternal presence, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace, and let us all say, Amen. You may be seated. At this time, we are going to conclude at the chapel and continue our service, our brief service at Beit Olam Cemetery, which is at the corner of Chagrin and Richmond Road. And after the interment, again, please join the family at the Granite City Pub, restaurant, whatever you like to call it,